Dr. Jazz.
And, I'll just jump in, thanks for finding the time, first of all. I have you, I usually pick people, I have a big CD selection like yourself, and I just take out the CD that I'm listening. I'm like, shit, okay, that could be a cool guy to talk to, and I listened to Blackbird yesterday, and I was like, and a long time ago, and I love the music, but I want to start with Bassolo today, this talk, which is a beautiful record, and what's the story behind it? There are so many amazing bass solo records out there and so many bass players. How did you approach this differently? I mean, the sound is killing, by the way. I love
Yeah.
since it's recorded in a church. And how come you decided to do this one?
Well, my decision was not about to compare with other bass recordings. It was more a wish since years to do a solo thing. And I knew that it will take some time because I didn't want to do it too early in my life. And Corona was really helpful for this because I was a lot at home, as many other colleagues. So I had so many like small papers with small ideas, and I got the time to get deep into these things. And so I really worked hard on my solo program, and it was more like the process of a composer, not so much as an improviser. So the whole recording is most pieces are through composed with some little improvisation parts. So it's not a typical jazz recording, I have to say. And I wrote also out the partitions, the notes, the charts, and I produced a small book for bass nerds.
Oh, wow, really? Oh, I didn't know that. Oh,
Sometimes at concerts, I sell them, and there's always one or two guys, oh yeah, I would like to try it out at home. And so, and I use it in classes in university for my students. And it's just nice to have it. So for me, it was just an important thing to do for myself. And also, like, if we talk about the music, it wasn't about to show that the bass is possible to do a solo recording, because some journalists asked this question, and I was expecting this question because many people think like this: oh, bass just alone doesn't work. And it was not for me about to prove that it will work, but just making some nice music as I like it, and to open my heart, and I hope that some of my music flies into the hearts of other people.
Yeah.
Happens because I did already many solo concerts since the release. The release was in February. And it was always very nice. It was always interesting because many people in the audience said, oh, it was the first time we attended a solo bass concert, and we didn't know before what should we expect, and we were just curious. And I thought, yeah, that's great. It's just the right state of mind to attend a concert like this.
Yeah.
And I played in churches. I played sometimes also in jazz clubs. I played, for example, in Frankfurt, and the jazz club was really very dry acoustics.
Yeah.
And it was not the jazz keller, but it was a nice another room, but really dry room and a typical jazz environment. And that was kind of tough first, but after a few pieces, mostly composed pieces, like new music, people really got into it, and it was one of my nicest concerts ever. I really liked it, and they really listened closely, and afterwards they were really like, you could see the shining eyes, and it was really useful music.
Yeah.
Like I call it always useful music, not useless, not only for the
No.
moment. Maybe music which lasts for the next day or the next 2 days, a little somewhere in the back corner of their souls.
Yeah. Do you find it heavy to play solo alone on stage?
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
psychologically to prepare. I mean, I know I did solo guitar
Yeah.
concerts.
It's heavy
It
on
was like,
different levels. It's first physical,
mm,
because it's really tough to play a whole program by yourself. And my pieces sometimes I wrote really hard, so it's my mistake to write hard music for myself. It's really tough sometimes to just literally to get some of the high things and
sure.
a lot of double stops. I in nearly every piece there's a small idea behind, which I like anyway in my composing, also for my quintet symmetry, or for
Yeah,
my,
yeah.
my symmetry now also. Maybe we can talk more
Oh,
about
I
this.
would love to. Yeah, I love those bands.
And in the solo program, it's the same. For example, one piece is only about everything in one position, fingering position, and in a really unusual, little awkward position between the thumb position and the regular low position. That's a region where you are normally not so familiar, and you don't
Yeah.
like to play so much. And it's going always in the same position over all four strings. And that's kind of tough physically to play. Also mentally, because you have completely unusual fingerings sometimes, combined with open strings, really unusual
Mm,
thing. But that's why I did this, because then I learn myself
challenge. Yeah.
things, and it's tough for my students sometimes if they try it, because you have to get out of your routine.
Yeah.
This, for example, then I have some standards also.
Yeah, so it's beautiful. Solar, what you did, such a
Solar,
nice
there's a
take. Yeah,
special idea behind, which it's kind of I'm really kind of little proud of, because you don't notice the idea first sight. I'm transposing the whole thing 1/2 step 2 times. So it starts out in the original key is C minor,
C
then it's
minor. Yeah, yeah.
to D flat minor, and then to D minor, and then it's going back to C. But the transposing happens very you don't notice, oh, there's something really happening. So and I like these ideas, which you can try to analyze these things,
Mm,
but you can just sitting back and enjoy the music. That's my credo in general for composing.
mm.
So you shouldn't be aware of the hard work the composer did listening to music. That's my I always try. I hate people who is kind of selfish if they do complicated things, and they want to be oh yeah, that's really complicated, it's really tough to listen to, and it's not interesting for me. It should be light somehow in the result, but the work happens before, and I put a lot of thinking and also sometimes complicated symmetrical things in.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But then at the end, if you don't know anything about music, if you just enjoy music without knowing anything about chords or notes, that's the proof if it works for me.
Mm. Yeah, no, it sounds. You know, I mentioned Blackbird today, and this Wink Swing and Drips and Draps, and like, those tunes, like
Yeah,
everything is groovy, right?
yeah,
Yet it's really complex if you start to analyze it. It's, I
right,
mean, really complex. It's, you know, rhythmically, a lot of things are happening,
right. A lot of
and
symmetrical
yeah,
things,
so,
and but again, I really love to work with symmetries since some years. I don't know why, and I thought it would be only for one program. Actually, for this band, Symmetry,
yeah,
we did one recording before, which is called only Symmetry,
yeah.
and I thought, okay, let's try everything with symmetrical structures, symmetry in harmonies, in melodies, like mirror melodies, and or mirrored forms even. And then I thought, okay, that will probably that will be it. But no, and it's still going on since now 20 years. I'm
Yeah.
thinking this way.
Interesting.
I love this because I love to work on some self organized complications. You know, it's kind of tough. It's tougher than just to sit down the piano and find some nice
Mm-hmm.
chords.
Yep.
But if has to be a structure in many cases for me, and then to work with it that it doesn't sound like structure. That's what I like.
Yeah.
And it's coming close actually to the music of Bach.
I wanted to ask you, where does this love for Bach come from? I mean,
I did a whole program actually about Bach with my trio.
I love that. Yeah, I love that. That's beautiful.
The recording is called a triple B. It's a kind of a ironic title because triple B first means 3 times BACH, which would be in English like B flat, A, C, B natural. But in German, Bach, the letters BACH, they mean music. They mean da, do, di, da.
Exactly. Yeah.
4 notes. And then I realized if I transpose these 4 notes 2 times, then I get a 12-tone row. So it's like la, do, di, da.
I never thought of that. That's fantastic.
Di, da, ha, ho, ho, ho. And then la, do, di, da. Then again, you reach the original one. So I have 3 times BACH. And I can get out of this small idea a lot of things. And so the whole recording is actually based on this small idea. Like every piece has to deal somehow with this idea. So triple B, and if you go into the world of finance disaster, like these rating agencies, they rate companies, or they rate even states sometimes, this triple A or triple something, and triple B is really shit. So if a company gets triple B, then it's kind of gone already. And I kind of like this idea that my music sounds like shit.
Oh my.
Yeah.
Oh, it's beautiful.
Yeah. So talking about Bach for me is one of my heroes. I mean, I'm not alone with this. Many musicians love Bach. I know that, for example, there's a nice saying from Maurizio Kagel, the composer. Don't know if you know him. He's
no.
a new music composer.
No.
He lived a long time in Cologne. I think I'm not sure if he's still alive. He said once, not every human being believes in God, but every musician believes in Bach. Yeah. And that's kind of a nice way to put it, I think. Because for me, Bach is the greatest of all times. Because in his music, he combines clarity, beauty, and also severity. Like it's really kind of
it's very strong still now. Yeah.
German, I don't know, but and I realize I'm also German in this kind of I love to work hard on things, and I love to make crosswords and to play Scrabble or chess or all these games. It's just fun for me. So I feel really close to this way of writing music. And again, if I listen to a Bach piece, I can analyze it really. You can write like hundreds of pages of analysis, music analysis, but you can just sit back and see, how beautiful is this? True. And that's amazing for me.
Yeah, it's true. It's eternal, these things.
Yeah, and Samo, which is interesting because Bach, he was a Baroque composer and he lived in this time and he was a child of his time for sure. But still, if you listen to the music, it doesn't sound for me like a style.
Mm-hmm.
It sounds for me like music which was already there. I don't know. It's strange. I don't have this with any other composer. Maybe little Mozart sometimes, because that sounds sometimes also eternal, so simple and so shining, so great. But Beethoven is clear. It's kind of classical romantic. Wagner is clear, Debussy is clear. Bach, it's kind of
interesting, right? Yeah.
Universal. Amazing.
Yeah, so some music is dated, some is not. It's like, fusion from the 80s. You immediately know that's it. While any record, like, I don't know, Wayne Shorter or, I don't know, Conference of the Birds, it's like timeless. If you put it on, it's like, man, this is so good. It's still modern.
Right. And that's the case with Bach for me. Like, I can listen to Bach all the time. And maybe some other thing which I realized some years ago, for me, Bill Evans, the pianist, not the saxophonist. He's great too, but I mean, Bill Evans, the piano player, is something else. And for me, if I listen to Bill Evans' piano, it has a feeling of sad happiness or melancholic joy. You know, this mixture between sad and happy at the same time. And if I listen to Bach, I get the same feeling. If I listen to the Goldberg variation, like played by Glenn Gould, I get kind of sad and moved and happy in the same time. I can't help it. It's strange. Yeah.
Interesting. You mentioned Bill Evans. When did you get the jazz bug? I mean, did you have like a specific moment that you heard the record? Like, shit, okay, I want to play this? Or
it was not one click moment, but it was a period. I'm from Berlin, and I started out playing classical cello really early age. I started out I was 4 years old.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And I was still too small to play a small cello. You know, back then, that was, I'm born 66, so that was 70. They didn't have all these small size instruments. It was not common back then. So my father, he was an amateur violin and viola player. He had an old viola. He didn't need it, and he had a brilliant idea. He put a stick on the viola and gave this to me as a cello. And that works because it has the same strings. Yeah. It's just 1 octave higher. And then I bowed the viola holding like a cello. Actually, there's a photo of mine on my website.
Oh, I have to check it out. Okay.
Contact page where I'm maybe 5 years old and I'm playing this instrument. My mood. I don't look very happy. And so I started out like this and only playing cello, classical music, a lot of Bach. And I thought I will be probably a classical cello player in my life. That everybody expected, and I expected it too. And then as a teenager, I started to get very much into political things. I was interested a lot in, like, the peace movement was strong back then. The squatter movement in Berlin was very strong. Many occupied houses, and it was kind of a exciting and excited time in Berlin. I went to many manifestations and everything. So I thought, man, I have to save the world. I can't make music. I was really very strong. So I kind of turned away from the cello, but in the same time, I kind of got to listen to some jazz concert more, not recordings, concerts, and I was really impressed. I didn't understand, but I kind of liked it. I thought, okay, maybe that's something. And then, by accident, I got a double bass from a friend of my father. Was standing in his apartment, standing around a plywood bass, and not a nice instrument, but worked, and so yeah, you can take it. I don't need it. I used to play like 30 years ago. I played in the Dixieland band, and so so I took it home and just plugged around a little. And I thought, oh, that's great. Bass that's great. Bass is the thing. So I got first maybe the bass virus, and I fooled around without any concept, and I'm self-taught on bass. So I never had a formal training on bass. Never.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And also I'm self-trained in jazz. So I never studied jazz.
We're the same.
I always checked out things and I didn't understand, but my ears said, yes, that sounds good. And then afterwards, maybe I tried to figure out what was this. And I still work like this, kind of. I still sometimes like a child. And that's teaching-wise, it's good sometimes, but it's bad in the same time, but mostly good, I think. Because my students, they tend to be too academized.
Analytical and everything.
And they have all their books and everything, and they try, if they do this exercise, then they will be a good musician. And it's not so easy. And so maybe with my approach, I can help them sometimes better to open the ears and to find their personal way also. So that's So and then I went to a lot of jazz concerts, and then actually the biggest step into jazz I did while playing to recordings. I did it really like Louis Armstrong or these old guys. They all tell, yeah, we learned jazz by always playing to the latest recording of Coleman Hawkins, and then if it was broken, we bought a new copy of it, and we checked out his solo. So I didn't do this literally, like I didn't check out a special solo or something, but I listened a lot to Miles Davis Quintet of the 60s, to Bill Evans Trio also. Just recordings. My father had a nice Oscar Peterson record with Clark Terry.
Oh, yeah.
Amazing record. Like if you want to tell somebody what to swing, just give him this record and he knows exactly. So I started to play with the recordings without knowing anything about harmony,
about the ear. Yeah.
And if I got better, I started to write out bass notes and kind of starting to transcribe pieces. And that was a lot of fun. I did it for some time. Like every day, I transcribed another recording, like pieces of early shorter, like his first recordings under his name in the Messenger's time.
Yes,
amazing pieces, still very bebopish, but
Yeah,
with
yeah.
his special thing. So I have still these handwritten papers
Fantastic. Yeah.
and I take them sometimes to my classes, and nobody knows these pieces, and they love it. So that's I really did it in the old way, actually, learning by doing, and playing the bass and learning jazz, the jazz vocabulary over recordings.
Yeah, that's a way. Yeah, I think you take much more from this approach than just reading books and etudes, and I think so. It's because it's a language, right? If you listen to a language, you'll eventually learn it, I think. So yeah, that's a good way. Yeah. How did you then get involved in the scene? I mean, I know you started to play with Nils Wogram, and I love the track you did with Frank Möbus, the Rote Reich. I'm friends with Frank for a long time, and we spoke the other day.
This one, it's funny, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I love those early records, the early 90s, and how did you get involved in the scene? Like, who were the first people?
Well, I maybe to finish my teen time talk with this political movement. So I decided not to study music, not to study cello, but I was involved kind of a lot with jazz. I liked it, just fooling around with the bass in Berlin, playing to the recordings. And so I thought, okay, what can I do with my life? Maybe study something social, or then I thought journalism, that could be a thing I could do to make the world better. And I looked around, and in Munich, there's a nice school.
That's how you went to Munich, okay.
Yeah, that's why I went to Munich. So I studied there, and I finished my study, actually. I'm a studied journalist. That's the only diploma, the only real diploma I have. And it happened at the last years in Munich of studying, and I thought, okay, I kind of liked, I always went to the bass and to the cello and played for myself, and I realized I really love this. And it's not a thing of here, but it's a thing of here. And so by accident, I got in contact with some people in the Munich scene. It was really by accident. I didn't go to sessions regularly or so. And one of the contacts there was Mercedes Rossi.
Oh yeah,
the sister of Jorge.
Jorge. Yeah. Okay.
She was a great piano player, and she lived in Munich back then, and she died a long time ago. She had I don't know the word in English. Kind of cancer, but
cancer.
Leukemia.
Leukemia, yeah.
Leukemia, exactly. Really sad, but she went to the States, and anyway, but I think she kind of realized that I'm a talented musician, and she kind of kicked me. Yeah, let's play some pieces. And she showed me some Bill Evans pieces, and I played with some gigs. And then some people heard me playing. We played one gig in the Alt Unterfahrt, and then next morning some people called, and it was really fast. So after a few weeks, I was really in busy play. It was kind of like very easy. I didn't do any effort. It's the opposite of other stories that people go to a session every week for months, and then maybe somebody gets in contact with them. It was really fast, and I was lucky, I think, with the right instrument, bass.
Yeah.
You know, if you're a good bass player, even if you're a bad bass player,
you're gonna get gigs. Yeah.
Yeah. And back then, probably I was also lucky because maybe there was a lack of bass players in the scene. I don't know. So then I kind of it was decided somehow. Okay, now I'm a jazz musician. So
interesting.
It was not a big deal. Yeah. And since then, it never changed.
Interesting. Well, but did you immediately also start leading bands?
Yeah.
Like your groups?
It started out pretty early, but making recordings, it took actually my first recording was in 94, I think.
That's the one with Bill Elgert. No,
right.
And Rudy. Yeah.
Mahal. I still love this recording.
It's beautiful, man. Yeah.
I love the music. My bass playing is kind of, I'm a better bass player today, but the music is strong.
Bill is fantastic on drums. You know, he's one of the most underrated drummers, I think, around. So
I agree.
Such a player.
I love Bill, and he's still in good shape. I don't know if you know this.
Yeah, no. We spoken last year, and we talked about that. I would drive to Germany to do something, but I still haven't sat in my car and gone there. So
yeah, because he's now 80 something.
Yeah,
like he's over 80. His 80th birthday was last year, I think. Yeah. Unfortunately, I couldn't come to his birthday concert in Ulm. He did a thing, and actually, I want to play with him and Rudy as a kind of reunion thing, but I couldn't make it. So it was in October, I think. Yeah. Bill is great. He's still great.
Yeah.
And so then after this recording, there was a kind of a long pause of my own recordings because I had small kids and had to make money and everything, but since maybe 2000 something, I do recordings pretty constantly.
Really prolific.
On music. So I think right now I have 21, something like this, under my own name. And in total, I think it's 160 or something.
Man, that's a busy person.
As a sideman, but I think for bass players, it's not so unusual, actually.
Yeah. Ray Brown was at like on 1,000 or something.
I mean, Ron Carter, I think he's the most recorded jazz musician in the world. He won't be topped from anybody.
Yeah.
I think 2,200 or something.
Really? Oh, yeah, because he did those 70 CTI records and all that. Yeah, of course.
He recorded all the time, and he still does. Yeah.
Crazy.
Ron Carter is one of my heroes, like my living heroes, I would say. But not so much how he plays since, let's say, 30 years. I love the old Ron Carter, the young Ron Carter.
Yeah.
Like playing
with Miles and Jim Hall, those duo records.
Yeah, and this period, like his sound was so good back then, and also his lines. And he still has great lines, but his sound, I really have to be
changed. Yeah.
I'm honest, I hate the sound. And also his intonation sometimes is really bad. I'm surprised.
Interesting. Yeah.
World-class musician as him, and sometimes it's good. I heard him 3 years ago in Munich, and he played good in tune. It was a great concert. He was in a good mood, and he was in good shape, and it was just great. It was just great to see him. And he said a really nice thing at the beginning. I remember he said to the audience, "Thank you for coming out and to not do all kind of other things tonight." It was kind of nice because I mean he's a world star and maybe he could be arrogant and think I don't care about the people, but he it was honest after all these years, and that's really good because I think also if people come to your concert and give a whole night sitting down there and
You should
kind of
appreciate it. Yeah,
yeah, it's not self-understanding. Not at
exactly,
all.
exactly. Yeah,
And it's great. I'm really happy for everybody who takes the effort to go to a jazz concert these days. Yeah,
yeah. That's what we should also, as musicians, give our best always on stage and
always.
play.
It's not about playing for the people, because many people try to play for the people. That's not the way, I think. You have to do your thing and hope it's coming over.
Exactly.
If it's not coming over, it's too bad, but you can't do anything. But not playing for the people, not trying to kind of what do they expect? Maybe I should play more faster, or that's stupid for me. Doesn't work.
Yeah.
Many people.
Sorry. No, I wanted to ask you, besides Ron Carter, did you then also, who did you check? Did you have like periods, like checking Dave Holland or Charlie Hayden or like Scott LaFaro?
I checked many bass players, but not so much really check, but like, get into their sound, their lines, their aesthetics. Charlie Hayden, what a great musician. It's amazing, huh? It's so musical and so good. So good, his lines. And if you check it out, I transcribed a lot of Charlie Hayden lines. And Ron Carter for sure. Oscar Pettiford, he's kind of underrated.
Really?
Like
Yeah,
many
definitely.
bass players know him, but not other instruments. He's not so on the radar, I think. He was great too. Jimmy Bland, like he was fucking great. Scott LaFaro. From actually I had a period I was really strong into Mark Johnson's playing.
Yeah, I wanted to ask you that.
It was in my 90s, and he was kind of famous in this back then. Like he played in a lot of recordings, and he played a lot with, for example, with Enrico Piranunzi.
Yeah, the piano player with Joey Barron. That's you, right? Yeah.
Joey Barron, right?
That's a beautiful
one.
one.
Few recordings, and one of my all-time favorite recordings they did. What's the name again? Deep Down. Deep Down. Do you know this?
I think I have it. Yeah, I think I have it on CD.
It's a great recording.
I have many.
He plays so fucking good, and especially Mark Johnson, he plays his ass off, and he's like, I mean, it's interesting because he was the last bass player of Bill Evans, and you can hear this up to date. Like he's very virtuoso, but he's very musical. And so his virtuosity is not superficial. It's really deep music. It's really good. It's not my way of playing. I'm not such a fast player. I don't like to play so fast. It's not my interest. But he does it really in a very personal and nice way. So it's really
a great composer also. I mean, you can see he's a band leader and everything.
And from the let's say from the younger, I mean, it's not really younger guys like Larry Grenadier.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
For sure, and one of my really favorite is Thomas Morgan.
Yeah, he's kind of Charlie Hayden. Continuing,
but in a very personal way. Man, he's Morgan.
He's great.
He's kind of very shy. Yeah, I talked to him.
Oh man,
And I kind of like this very much because he's just himself, and he's just doing his thing, and he's very successful, which is great. That a guy like this can be successful. It's just great that the world works like this, huh? Not only I'm great and Sunny Boy.
He's really like
everybody has his place, huh? If it works, so it's good because he's so good.
It's funny they call him like for the heaviest music out there, like odd meters, structures. He can play that because he's a good reader, and then of course he can play standards and everything. So beautiful to hear him play. Yeah,
he's amazing. Yeah, for me he's one of the best since the last years.
Henning, I wanted to ask you, like, what's your connection with John Hollenbeck? I mean, I've played with John and did some records with him as well, and I love his playing, and I think you connected with him so well. And then also Chris Speed, I guess maybe he came through John. Like, what's the story behind those groups that happened?
Well, actually, John, I met over the jazz big band Graz.
Oh yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that was interesting for me because I used to go to Graz very much, and it's kind of interesting because it was close to Maribor and
it was half an hour away. Yeah.
and I played a lot with the jazz big band Graz in the beginning years. Not the beginning, was the beginning years where I think Besigi Feigl.
Yeah, sure.
But the years after, maybe for 10 years, I played with the big band, and then it got for my taste, it got too poppy and too. So what they do now is I don't like it so much anymore. But maybe you don't have to show this. I don't know.
Oh, it's okay. It's like it's
And
personal
John was
taste.
was kind of in contact, and he had his own music in one program, and I was playing the bass there, and I really loved the music. I loved the way how he played, and I loved him as a guy, and so we kept contact. And after this, he played on nearly all my recordings for some years.
Yeah, exactly.
Not only with the Symmetry trio, but also I did a nice thing and trio with Antonio Farao.
Farao, yeah, the What's New record. Yeah, that's a nice one. Yeah.
Yeah.
And the double quartet also. That's a beautiful.
Right, double quartet.
That's
That's a great recording.
That's a great record. Yeah.
It was a great thing for me. I was a composer in residence at a nice festival.
Very
and
modern.
I was really paid well for compositions. I played, composed for a string orchestra and this octet. That was like Christmas. And I had two drummers there actually. It was John Hollenbeck and Jochen Rückert.
Rückert, yeah, sure.
But it was great because Jochen I knew from back then from Nils Wogram's quartet. And so I knew him for a long time, and I knew John for a long time. But then I thought, it's interesting because they are so different players. Why not putting them together? And then I called the two of them and said, yeah, we do it. And then afterwards I had a sleepless night because I thought, shit, what did I do there? Probably it doesn't work out at all. Probably they're just jealous on each other and they don't kind of connect or something. And then they met. Actually, it was really one of the first time. It was the first time they did a project together, and they knew of each other for sure. I mean, they knew the names and everything, and it was great. They loved each other. I was so happy. It worked out perfectly.
It's funny, right? You put sometimes these strange.
Yeah.
I did a record years ago with Christian Lillinger on drums, and Roberto Dani, whom you know, and
yeah, I know.
You know, and this was like, you know, complete opposites, but it worked, and it's fantastic.
Yeah, but Dani, I played quite a bit, but it's also a long time ago. We did one recording with Norma Winston and
I know.
Glauco Vinier.
Yeah, Glauco on the piano. Yeah,
and we played with Pietro Tornolo, sax player. I did one recording about Venice because I love Venice, and Roberto plays on the recording. It was a recommendation of Pietro back then.
Yeah,
I didn't see Roberto for 15 years now.
Yeah, we played together with Roberto for 10-15 years, and then I think he's not playing anymore in groups. He's just playing solo concerts. That's it. Yeah, he lives near Udine, I think, in Italy. So.
Right, but he used to live there all the time, I think.
Yeah, like kind of that Veneto region. He was there around. Yeah, but fantastic drummer. Yeah,
he is.
Yeah. But yeah, I love those. And how did Chris?
So like John, right? So I met John then, and what really kind of shocked me in a positive way, going into the studio with him, like he never made any mistake, never. He's maybe the only musician I met in my life, and never heard him playing any mistake. He's so focused all the time. This is great, but then even greater, we played maybe 2 or 3 takes from a piece as normal, and every time he played something completely different. Everything was great, so it was really kind of sad to take only one take because I had to choose between 3 great drum tracks, you know. So that's how John play. Probably he plays still like this, and unfortunately, since now a long time, I'm not in contact with him. He moved to Canada.
To McGill,
yeah. And I think his contacts to Europe kind of finished.
Yeah.
I think maybe not, and it's really kind of sad. So we never played since then. Yeah.
That's a shame. Yeah.
Yeah.
I love those records.
And Chris Speed, actually, I met over because he was kind of together with Jim Black. They studied together with Frank Möbus in Boston.
Oh yeah.
end of 80s, beginning of 90s, and Frank came back from Boston, and that was just the time where I came on the scene in Munich, and somehow somebody said, yeah, there's a good bass player in Munich, let's call him, and so he called me, and I went to Nuremberg, and Rudi, he's from Nuremberg also, so they're two good players from Nuremberg, completely different guys, Frank Möbus and Rudi Mahal, especially personally. But they played all the time together because they were the guys in Nuremberg. And so I was there, and then Jim came for maybe 2 months to Nuremberg. He did Frank's house, and Chris came for some time, and we jammed every day in his Frank's apartment. And at night we played concerts. It was really great time.
Wow.
In some kind of punk place in Nuremberg, really kind of off place. And after endless sessions and gigs, we did this recording. So it's a really nice recording.
Interesting.
And Frank went to Berlin, and Rudi as well. And it actually is my hometown, but I was in Munich. I had family, so I couldn't come too often to Berlin. And then somehow at some point they decided to continue without bass.
Yeah, the trio. Yeah,
It was a bad decision for sure.
I love the trio that it's without a bass because it's so different, by the way.
No, I love it too.
Yeah. No, but yeah. What about yourself nowadays? I mean, I know you did the Bassolo record, and have you been writing some new music, like band-wise, like Symmetry, or what's happening there?
I'm constantly writing new music. I write also a lot of string quartet things.
Really?
But which are not, like, mostly for I have it at home, and I don't. But I love to compose. So if I have a half an hour, or 1 hour free, if I can decide, should I check gigs or should I go to the piano? I go to the piano.
Smarter, maybe.
I write a lot of these things, but I write also a lot for my trio, with Nils Wogram on trombone and Ronny Graupe on guitar. He plays a 7-string guitar.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah,
which has a low B string, and so you can reach the bass register pretty easy. And so I had him, like, I founded the trio in 2011, so it's 13 years. It's pretty long. Yeah. And our 4th album is coming out these days in beginning of October, and it's called Blues. I can show it.
Oh, you have it. Oh, wow, already. Okay. Oh, wow. Oh, man.
Looks, huh?
Oh, fantastic. Beautiful.
I think it comes out officially 11th of October or something. And so it's all about blues, which is kind of surprising I think nobody expects that I'm doing a blues album. And neither that Ronny Graupe is a blues player, but he is actually a great blues guitar player.
Oh, wow, really? I didn't know that. Okay.
He can play this very good. I mean, as well as Nils. And so they're really, really they're really into this project in general, but also especially this program.
It's original music, or?
It's all original music.
Oh, okay.
My music is always, like in this trio, I'm the only composer, and everything is again has some symmetrical ideas. For example, I have one blues. It's called Salami Blues. So the title is self-explaining. So we have 12 bars, then we cut the last bar, then we have a form of 11 bars, then 10, then 9, 8, and so on.
Oh, that's cool.
Continue to 1 bar. And at this point, we glue back the slices of salami. So 1, 2, 3, and that is interesting because it's a really normal, happy, archaic blues. At the beginning, you're just grooving, and then after 3 choruses, you realize something is strange.
Oh man, I'm looking forward to this actually.
It's really good, and it's fun to play too because it's kind of strange to
out of comfort zone.
At the end, the beginning is always the same, but. And so this is, for example, and then I have one blues for Charlie Hayden, for my hero, one of my heroes, and it's about his letters of his name. So it's like C, H, A, then L doesn't work, I, E, and the last name Hayden is perfect. It's like H, like B natural, A, D, E, And this gives a nice bluesy, archaic melody. Actually, it sounds like a Charlie Hayden melody.
That's amazing.
It's funny. His name sounds like he played. So this is a really nice, slow blues feel, and yeah, so on. So I have
Beautiful.
something also with my my Bach idea. That's another blues, and so on.
Fantastic. Beautiful.
And so this trio it's what I like in this trio very much is it's very democratic. Not, I mean, I'm the leader and I give the compositions and the ideas, but while we are playing, everybody takes sometimes the role of melody player, sometimes the role of bass player. Really, everybody. Nils can play nice bass lines, and harmony. Sometimes Nils plays like arpeggios, and Ronnie for sure harmony. But also I can play harmony, especially on cello. And this trio, I play maybe nearly half bass and cello. And the sound of cello and the sound of trombone is
it's beautiful.
Completely melting. It's really amazing. If I bow the cello and Nils plays trombone, sometimes I don't know, is it me or is it him?
Interesting.
It's really interesting. Cool. Yeah. It's funny. And so it's fun to play. And we have in fall, we have, I think, 12 concerts over the fall. It's really tough to organize. I organize everything myself. I don't have a booker or anything. I tried. Either I found somebody nice but not good, or somebody good but who wasn't interested because he didn't make enough money.
Yeah, same here. Yeah.
So I do it myself, and I hate it. But...
I know what you mean, man. Yeah. You find it easier now or harder? Like if you compare, let's say, to 20 years or 25 years, like
maybe it's a little harder because there are much more people around.
Yeah.
This, and also because I'm now not the young, interesting guy anymore. You know, if you call some organizer, yeah, Henning, yeah, nice to hear from you, and you can hear in his voice, okay, yeah, he's around since a long time. He's not the young, fresh guy you want to, you know. This it's normal. That's how life works. Sure. And so that's these two things together, more people on the scene and this generation thing, that makes it maybe a little harder. On the other hand, I made a lot of contacts over the year, and so like sometimes ideally you call somebody and he says yes or no, and then it's easy. Yeah, but
it's gotten harder.
Very seldom like this. So.
yeah, I know. I know. Yeah, it's especially after COVID. I think it's slightly different. Many clubs closed, or diese Initiativen in Germany, and it's
not so easy. No, it's getting tougher.
Especially for the music we play, kind of this, I don't know what is creative, modern jazz or whatever. I don't know how to call it even. You know, it's not standards and it's not, so it's, but yeah, we do it, you know, we love doing it. So
right. We have to go on. It will be always a minority will survive who needs this music and who will, you will always listen to this music. So it will never die. But it won't be the pop music anymore as it used to be in the
and the audiences are also the same. I noticed that, like you know, at least for when we do a tour, like if you play in Innsbruck or Vienna or Munich or small Garmisch-Partenkirchen, it's like, you know, 60 to 100 people. That's whether it's a big town or a small village, it's kind of the same, you know.
Yeah, it's true. Interesting.
Very interesting.
Yeah.
But you know, those are into it. So.
That's the thing, is because in big cities you have so much cultural things going on the same time, right? And in small towns there's nothing. So that's probably because that's maybe the reason why there you have the same number of people coming.
Yeah. Cool. Henning, I will leave you on ice. What is today? Wednesday. So, but thanks, man, for sharing some of these thoughts. It was beautiful to hear you talk. And you know, if you're around Graz or if you're coming down, drop me a line. You know, you know where Maribor is, so we have a guest room here. Would love to play also one day. It would be beautiful.
Yeah, that would be nice. Yeah. Because I listen to some of your recordings too, because I'm still doing my radio program from time to time. Do you know this?
Oh, on Bayerischen Rundfunk, right?
Yeah,
Or-
Bayerischer Rundfunk.
Yeah.
As a freelancer, I do this since 20 years. That's kind of the last thing which survived from my journalism study.
Yeah,
Which is
I had a radio show as well for 20 years. Now they stopped this year, so
shit. It's the same. Actually, it's getting really tough in Germany too.
it's
That they
insane.
cut down the whole cultural things in the
Yeah.
radio, public radio. So
Yeah.
I still have a few, but I don't know how long this will take. Yeah.
Terrible.
So same for you, right?
Oh man, I had
They
like
cut it down the whole public radio, right?
yeah. I mean, I had a national on national radio, Slovenian. I had a jazz show, and I started basically like with a carte blanche on Thursdays 9 p.m. like really prime time. And you know, I could play anything like Peter Bertzman, whatever. Like you know, then they were like they said like a new chief came and he was like, yeah, okay, maybe you know a little bit more on the easier side. Okay, I could still play ECM-ish kind of stuff. Okay, act
Yeah.
and then the next guy came like, yeah, I don't know, can you go even softer like Marcus Miller? I was like, okay, I'll try. And then the end was like, yeah, okay, we're cutting jazz. I was like, wow, man. But you're national radio. You don't need commercials. You live from the taxes of people.
Same
you know?
thing.
It's
Same
the
thing
right?
happening
Yeah.
in Germany right now. It's really
I didn't know
sad.
that. Because
Yeah.
Germany had such a strong jazz radio culture. I think, you know, all these radio stations.
Getting down very fast right now.
Oh shit, man.
Especially in Berlin. Can you imagine in Berlin they don't have any jazz guy in the radio anymore?
That's
The
crazy.
public radio, because he got retired the last one, and they didn't put somebody else in the position anymore. There's no jazz in public radio in Berlin anymore.
That's
And we have
insane,
this
man.
great scene there. It's insane. Yeah.
That's insane. Shit. Yeah, I hope hopefully maybe it will change in the future, but yeah, at this stage it's looking like yeah. We'll see.
We have to keep it up.
Yeah, definitely. But cool. Henning,
Yeah.
man, stay in touch. I'll let you know when this is also. So I'll send you a link and everything. So.
Yeah. Great.
And when the new record is called The Blues, please send me a link to it, to a Bandcamp site or something. I'd love to check it out.
Yeah.
Cool.
Cool.
Danke.
Bye.
Tschüss.
Bye.
Ciao.
Dr. Jazz.